Just from shrapnel when the blast emits from the barracks. TZO.
Spit it off the Richter when I hit it. Everybody listen, they can feel it. I'm a literary visionary.
Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back with episode 3 of this weight manipulation series. Today we're actually going to talk about 2 specific methods of dieting. The first is going to be carb cycling, and the second one is going to be if it fits your macros. Right now we're going to start off with carb cycling, and Leslie's going to go into depth about that.
Okay, so carb cycling, pretty much you're going 5 days of low calorie days and then 2 high days. So you're just cycling off low and high carb days. What that does is it helps you lose weight a little more rapidly. You add the high carb days in to try and keep everything still in homeostasis, because those low carbohydrate days are going to throw you off a little bit. And even on the high carb days, it's just maintenance calories. It's not like you're refueling or refeeding or whatever. You're just eating your maintenance calories. It's a technique that you would use when you're trying to cut for a show. It's pretty effective. It works. You're not dying because you're not starving yourself all the time, and you're still able to at least replenish a little bit. So it's just 5 days, and those 2 days that you do the high days, you put them in between those low days. So you can do it like 2 low days, 1 high day. Just make sure you're putting it in between the low days. Keep your body, happy a little bit. So it's pretty much the gist of it.
Okay. Now, have you used that before? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
I've used carb cycling before. That's exactly what I did. And as I got closer to the show, I actually dropped it to 1 high day. So it was 6 low days. And the low days are just 50% of your regular carbohydrate intake, and then you just eat your maintenance calories on the high days.
Yep. Carb cycling is interesting. I've actually never been able to try it personally. For me, usually when I diet, I've been using, for bulking and cutting, I track my macros. And I know there's a lot of scientific ways to set up your macros. The easy way that I do it, I usually have I'll have a certain goal of something that I want to do. So I'll find out what my calories into what my TDEE is. We'll link some stuff in the description that you guys can use to actually find out for yourself based on your activity level, your body composition, everything like that. After I find out my daily calories, if I'm cutting right now, I'm eating about 220 carbs, around 130, 140, 220 proteins, around 130 to 170 carbs based on what I'm lifting that day. And my fats stay around 100 grams of carbs. 100 grams a day. But the way I usually set it up for cutting is I just make sure that I'm getting 1 gram per pound for protein. You don't necessarily have to be that high, but for me personally, I like it to stay as high as possible just because it'll make me stay more full, and protein is it's an inefficient source of energy. So usually what will happen is your body will burn a decent amount of it just trying to convert it into energy. So it won't store as fat as easily as a carb or fat would store. And then after that, I usually kind of let everything else fill in. So once I made sure I hit my 220 for my carbs, for my protein, I made sure that I was going to be going up on my fat, because I just prefer to eat stuff like steak and eggs and whole milk and stuff like that. So I set my fats after that, and then I just kind of filled in the rest with my carbs. It's just a simple way that I like to do it. And then when I start bulking, I'll probably just bump up my carbs a little bit, a lot of it, maybe 100 to 200 grams, just to compensate for that. And I'll work my way through that if I do track my bulk. How would you set up your macros? I know are you doing macros right now since you're not in?
Right now I'm at 3,200 calories a day, which is awesome. I'm eating a lot. My protein is 200 plus. Carbs are at 400, so that's awesome. It's good when I can barely reach it. That's how you know you're doing it good. And then my fat is about 101 grams now, so I'm happy, gaining weight slowly, everything is going well.
Yeah, so you guys can see, even though I guess you're in maintenance block right now, right?
Yeah.
So he's in maintenance and I'm cutting, and everything is pretty much the same for us except for our carbs. That's usually what we end up manipulating when we want to gain weight and lose weight. And part of that is just because carbs will actually be the first source of energy that your body goes to So if you're continuously padding up the amount of carbs you're getting to, it's just like if you were to reinforce like an armored car or something like that. The bullet would have to go through the carbs before it can get to, whatever inside, which is the fat. So when I'm trying to lose fat, I'll drop the carbs a little bit so that it's easier for my body to finish through my carbs and start burning fat for energy. So I mean, that's everything. Is there anything else you'd like to add right now? Just about, any tips or something for people to hold on to?
With all these techniques like carb cycling and the other ones we'll talk about in later videos, it's important that you do your research. I would recommend that you go see a nutritionist about it as well. I used one. His name is Justin Cooper. He's awesome. You can actually send him an email at tjcperformance at...
It'll be right here.
Yeah, we'll put it there. Can you edit that part out? But yeah, we'll drop a link in there for you guys to check him out. He's a great guy.
And that's everything. Thanks for watching. That's episode 3 of the weight manipulation series. We'll stay tuned for more content. And once again, we really appreciate your guys' support. Same whether I'm bulking or cutting. The only difference is like when I'm bulking, I'll be like a little bit looser with my tracking. I do track my macros.